Hello, third graders. Last week we were geologists and we explored rocks. This week we're on the same topic, but we're going to dive deeper within rocks. So let's review in this first part of the lesson. There are three different types of rocks. Sedimentary rocks form when materials settle into layers and harden. Igneous rocks are rocks that were once melted, but they had cooled and hardened. And metamorphic rocks were once sedimentary or igneous. These rocks were changed by heat and pressure. So, how do we classify rocks? We classify rocks by their physical attributes. So, let's look at our physical properties anchor chart. So, we're always going to refer back to this chart when we're classifying our rocks. So, let's look at the physical properties. So, first we have size. So, some adjectives that we have to describe that are big, fat, long, skinny, thick, small, thin, short. And then we're going to look at weight. Is it light, like a feather, or is it a heavy rock? If I'm moving down, we have shape. So is it a round rock, or maybe it's square shaped, rectangular, and I know that doesn't really look like a rectangle, but it has kind of that shape. If we look at pattern, does it have spots? Does it have stripes? What is the pattern that you're seeing within that rock? So then we're going to go down to shine. So now another word for shine that we used last week was luster. So remember, luster refers to how a mineral reflects light. So we can use the words shiny, or we can use the words dull just to see how it's reflecting light. Another word that we might want to say is metallic. Kind of when we think of metallic, what do we think of? Metal. Good job. So then we're moving on to texture. And when we're looking at texture, I want us to focus on that touching aspect. Is it bumpy? Is it rough? Is it hard? Is it smooth? Is it soft? Is it pointy? Is it grainy? We're looking at all of these adjectives when we're describing our attributes of our rock. And then lastly, we're going to be looking at color. This is something that we can just do with our eyesight. What color is the rock that you picked out? Is it brown, gray, white, silver, blue, green, orange, yellow, pink, purple, red? This is all going to help us classify our rock. And last week we had some practice classifying rocks that we found. Now, the last physical attribute that we're going to be looking at is the hardness of the rock or mineral that we are looking at. So I have a chart for us to see, and it is discussing the Mohs hardness scale. Now we're going to be talking more about that. We have been talking about it this week, and we are going to be talking about this more in this lesson. So we use the Mohs hardness scale to compare the hardness of any mineral. The higher the number on the scale, the harder the mineral is. So if I'm just using my pointer and I'm looking at talc, that has a hardness of 1. So not that hard. But if I go to the hardness of 10, that's supposed to be the strongest one, I am able to see that that is a diamond. So a diamond would be the hardest mineral. Now, if you wanted to try this at home with a rock, this right here in the side says that your fingernail is about a 2.5. So if you scratch a mineral with your fingernail, it is softer than 2.5. If you can't, it's harder than 2.5. So although this is just a little bit of a glance, it gives us a good idea of rocks and minerals that you have around your neighborhood and how strong they are. So this is all leading us to the big picture. Why do we classify rock? I put that emoji there because I want you to think about this for a second. Pause the video and write down in your journal, in your notebook, why you think we classify rocks. So pause this video and answer that question. So let's talk about minerals. What are minerals? Minerals are the building blocks of rocks. Minerals are organic, which means that they are not living. Most rocks are made up of minerals. Coal is an example of a rock that is not made up of minerals. Coal is formed from decayed plants and animals. Minerals are found in nature. So dirt, water, rocks, they're everywhere. Minerals are natural and not man-made. This is important because we want to note that you cannot make a mineral. You can't. Now, we can make rocks with different types of minerals, but we can't make minerals. And finally, minerals are made up of chemical substances. So some minerals contain only one substance, such as silver or gold. Some minerals contain more than one substance, such as quartzite and calcite. Minerals have the same chemical makeup and are usually solid crystals. The most important component of minerals is oxygen. And down here, I have a picture of a mineral. Now, we're identifying minerals the same way we identify rocks. So we have colors. Minerals come in a variety of colors. Luster, the way the mineral reflects light. Streak, this one is new. The color that is made by a mineral when it is rubbed against a hard surface. Hardness, how easy the mineral scratches. And gravity, the weight of the mineral. So for hardness, we're going to be using which scale? Correct, the Mohs scale. So we should be familiar, because we have been reviewing these over the past 2 weeks. Streak is one that we're going to be talking more about, and that is made when it rubs against the hard surface. Now, the Mohs scale of mineral hardness was developed in 1822 by a German mineralist, someone who studies minerals. Mohs scale of mineral hardness measures the hardness of minerals using a 1 to 10 scale rating, 1 being the softest and 10 being the hardest. And the scale uses common minerals to represent the numbers 1 through 10. Today, geologists and mineralists use Mohs scale of mineral hardness. Here we have a picture of Frederick Mohs. Now, let's do an activity. Have you all ever heard of birthstones? Think about it. What is a birthstone? Now, just by using your context clues of the word birthstone, what do you think that is? Great job. A birthstone is a gemstone that represents a person's birth month. So, do you know your birthstone? Look at these gemstones that are on the presentation right now. And another fun fact, did you know that some months have more than one birthstone? So this is where we're going to have to think like a scientist. Let's ask some questions. Write down some questions in your science notebook. So take a moment to pause and write down any questions. And I promise we're going to get to the activity soon. So pause this video and write down any questions you have. All right, so now we've been asking questions. So what are we going to do now? We have to investigate. We're still scientists, right? So the first thing we have to do is find our research. We have to figure out which gemstone or gemstones belong to our birth month. So you have two options, boys and girls. You can either watch this video in its entirety and then participate in the activity, or you can pause and go along with me, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Now, if you want to follow along with me, we are going to go to Google Chrome and we're just going to open up a brand new window. And we are going to search my kids' birthstones. Now, it's going to be this first link, and it's going to just say Birthstones, my kids, for your kids. And it's going to take us to a website that looks like this. So now, here's the fun part. This is where you get to go and do your research and write down everything that you learn and see if you can classify your birthstone. So let's do it. Let's classify it. My birthday is in September. So let's see if I'm looking down. September. Your modern or traditional birthstone is sapphire. I'm going to click on that link and it's going to take me and it's going to show me a picture of my gemstone. It's going to show me its name, sapphire, and its scientific name. And as I'm scrolling down, it's showing me the hardness. So this is a 9.0 on the Mohs scale. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty strong gemstone. Now, it's occurrence. So this is where the different countries that you can find it. So we have Thailand, India, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Cambodia, Zimbabwe, Pakistan. Ooh, but look at this. United States, Montana, North Carolina. I need to take a trip to Montana and North Carolina. And then it shows you its appearance. So they are found in a variety of colors, reddish colors. So they're not all just blue. And we're still scrolling down. It shows you enhancements. So it shows you how it's treated, how you get it. And then down here, it'll show you the different varieties of your gemstone. You guys get to do this too. And I know you're excited. Now, as you're classifying your gemstone, make sure that you pay attention to the color or colors, luster. The streak might be a little bit difficult just because you don't have it physically in your hand, but you can still do research on that. Hardness, once again, you don't have it in your hand, but as you've seen on that website, it shows you its hardness. And then gravity, weight, that really depends on how it was mined and how it was found. Make sure that you are using this to really identify your gemstone. And remember, if you want to go back and look at the Mohs hardness scale, you can. That's why I also put it at the end of this presentation, just in case you just wanted to compare it to anything else. So now going back to this final question, why do we classify rocks? And this doesn't just have to be for rocks, it can also be for minerals. Why do we classify them? What are we getting out of this? Geologists classify rocks so that they can get a better understanding of where we were in the earth in the past, where it can take us in the future. Geologists are also classifying minerals so that they can get a better idea of the mineral that they are handling. If we go back to this slide where we're looking at the physical properties of rocks, or we're looking at physical properties of minerals, and we're looking at texture, shine, color, pattern, we're going to be able to narrow down what we're identifying. I want you to think about that. Hi guys, so I'm just popping in to say that make sure that all your notes that you have taken today, you have saved them in your science notebook, because your teacher might ask you about this when you Zoom later in the lesson. So make sure you are saving all of your recordings in your science notebook. It is important because scientists save their recordings. They save all of their notes. So just popping in to say, save your notes. Thank you guys. Bye everyone. See you on the next one.